topic, theories of international relations, and I started by introducing the course 2 days ago when I told us that it is not just theories as it were, it's more of concepts, and general concepts that needs to be understood in international relations. So I also went ahead to explain the various concepts that we are going to be dealing with. I talked about power, which is one of the concepts. We looked at that conflict management and accommodation. Then yesterday we looked at linkage theory, we looked at linkage. Then we also examined system theory. And today we are going to be looking at coalition. We're going to be looking at coalition and alliances. That's what we are going to be doing today. So I welcome you to today's class. Give it your focus now. Today is our last class. And being that today is our last class, it requires that we'll have a lot of more work to do even after this class in terms of going back to do our own due diligence in reading, studying, and understanding the course in preparation. We may not have so much time to do the review because we're already behind the schedule. We have treated 3 topics and we just have 2 more. So, theories in international relations. We have already looked at power. And we said power is the ability to do a thing, the authority that is vested to be able to carry out certain things and implement authority to something to be achieved. We looked at military power, economic power, and the likes of you. So I will not go back to what we did because I already did that review yesterday. We're going to be starting with coalition and alliances. Coalition and alliances. To coalesce and to align. Okay. Sometimes you hear the word to collate or to coalesce, and you're aligned with somebody. These are English languages, but they have their role that they play in terms of international relations and how they play out. So when you hear the word coalition, what comes to your mind? When you hear the word alliances, what do we mean by an alliance? So they both have similarities and they both have differences as well. They both have similarities and they both have differences. So what does it mean? We said coalition and alliances, they play very important and significant role in international relations because they shape what we call the dynamics of global politics and influence outcomes in various areas such as security, trade, and diplomacy. We talked about international relations as a course that deals with the interdisciplinary nature of activities and events among states. And by state, we mean among countries. So how Nigeria relates with France, for instance, how France relates with Nigeria, how Nigeria relates with United States, and how United States relates with Nigeria, how Nigeria relates with South Africa, relates with Rwanda, relates with any country that you can name, and how those countries relate with us. So the whole essence of these international relations, or some people call it international relationships, is to foster mutual benefits. And one of the concepts that helps to foster mutual benefits among these states are the subject of coalition and alliances. So the global politics is very complex. It's a very complex dynamic, as we looked at when we looked at system theories. And we said the interplay and the understanding of the dynamics that play out will tell how much of an advantage a particular country or nation is going to have. So let's start by looking at coalition. Coalition. So you say a coalition refers to a temporary or ad hoc grouping of states or entities that come together for a specific purpose. They come together for a specific purpose. Coalitions are usually formed to achieve common goals, often in response to specific crisis or situation. So the first thing we are looking at under coalition is to understand that coalition is when a group of states, 2 or more states, come together to achieve a particular goal. Now, this coming together is usually temporal. Okay, it is not a permanent coalition. They are not coming together to form any permanent relationship, as it were. It's just for a particular period or season to achieve a particular thing, get a particular goal, and the relationship ends afterwards. That's all about coalition. That is all it is. A temporal alliance, a temporal coming together to see that a particular thing is achieved. So now it is temporary because the relationship is not going to be a continual one. It's only for a particular purpose or objective. And when that purpose or objective is realized, the relationship becomes irrelevant afterwards. So know that one of the major characteristics and nature of the coalition is that it is a temporal alliance, temporal coming together to achieve a particular goal. So coalitions are typically flexible and they do not have the much formality as you would have in other cases, as we are going to see. They may involve states with diverse interests that converge on a specific issue. Now, coalitions, what duration, how long? Coalitions are often formed for a short term or specific purpose and may be dissolved once that objective is achieved or once that crisis is resolved. Imagine setting up a committee, for instance, to look into a particular situation or a crisis situation, and once the committee has looked into it and has tendered their report, afterwards it is dissolved because it is no longer relevant. The essence of why it was formed is over. So the duration are often short-lived when it comes to coalition. An example of coalition is what we call coalition of the willing in the Iraqi war. Is an example of coalition where countries join forces to address issues of weapons of mass destruction. So a coalition is just a short or temporal alliance coming together for the purpose of a common goal, after which that coalition does not need to exist again because the essence has been achieved. It's like setting up what we call ad hoc committees or a temporal team to look into a particular thing, and after that their responsibility is done. Secondly is what we call alliances. Now, alliance is more of a formal and enduring agreement among states or countries or nations or entities for what we call mutual benefits, often involving long-term commitment to support each other in the face of external threats. For instance, we have Commonwealth of Nations, which comprises of about 53 countries. Now, the Commonwealth of Nations, which has about 53 countries, to which Nigeria is also part, are countries that were formerly colonized by the British. So, having ended the colonial period, these countries still decide to have a form of alliance, to have a form of unity, working together to achieve a particular purpose. So the Commonwealth countries now come together. In that situation, we call it an alliance because it's a long-term relationship. So if another country that is not part of the Commonwealth decides to fight or to come against a Commonwealth nation, so another Commonwealth nation will come to defend its fellow Commonwealth. what we call alliances. Now, the nature of an alliance, it involves more structure and institutionalized relationship with clear terms, goals, objectives, and obligation, which is properly discussed and agreed upon on how the alliance is supposed to be. They are built on trust and a sense of shared security, responsibility, and consent. So it's more like saying, I'm here for you and you are here for me, but not in the short term, but the relationships are ones that are meant to last for a long time. What is the duration? Alliances are generally intended to be long-lasting and may involve collective defense agreements, economic cooperation, and diplomatic cooperation as well. So the duration are long-lasting. In fact, for many times, the duration may not be specified. It may not be stated that the relationship between X and Y is going to last for 2 months or it's going to last for 4 years. No, the relationships often last, may not necessarily be stated as it were. So the duration or the nature of relationships when it comes to alliances are usually longer terms. Example also, just like I mentioned, Commonwealth is NATO. NATO is North Atlantic Treaty